Hi guys, welcome to another TH2G workshop tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about diesel filter and water separator replacement. So first we're going to talk about the condensation. The best time to service these filters would be first open the doors, let all this condensation dry out, give it like half an hour or so, because when these things are wet and cold it's a little bit hard to open. You can see that I've left mine open for a little bit of time and the filters have had time to dry out. So starting with these are for inspecting the diesel quality and water as well. I had already loosened all three before, so I'm going to talk about tightening them, opening them and inspecting them. These things should only be hand tightened. You should never use a tool to tighten these things. But in case you find one that is a little bit too tight and you cannot open with your hand, you can try maybe with a rag, and if all else fails you can use a belt. Okay, only use a belt to open, never use a chain as it will break the plastic. And also never use the belt to tighten it. Never, only tighten it with your hand. Okay, so I'm gonna give an example of how I can open this with a belt. So go ahead and put it all the way here to the grooves, tighten the belt, and remember when using the filter wrench that this slip points to the direction that you want to rotate. So in this case I want to open this and rotate it in that direction, so that's the direction I want to rotate. So let's go ahead and give it a little bit, and there it goes. Remember, this has already been loosened before, so you might have to struggle with it sometimes. Sometimes they overspill a little bit or overfill. That's fine. Okay, first thing you look at is the color, and as you can see this is almost clear. Yeah, that slight tinge comes from the plastic as well. There's very little particles and there's very little water. Let's go ahead and remove the filter. Give it a little bit of twist and you remove the filter. Yeah, there are a few water drops down there. Let's go ahead and drain it. Now when you drain these, you'll notice there's very fine dust that settles at the bottom. Don't put this back yet. Take a clean cloth like my tissue here, wipe it dry, notice I haven't put this down anywhere so it doesn't gather any dust or any dirt. So you're going to put it back, make sure it's pressed in and it's ready to go back in. So putting it back, right now it's very slippery, so I'm gonna give it a wipe and I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it just with my hand. So we're gonna open the second one and we're gonna do the same as well. Notice this has more dirt and more water at the bottom. See all that dirt? That's the part I don't want you to put back in. So you're going to take another cloth, or another tissue in this case, and wipe that. Yeah, make sure you get all that water at the bottom. Okay, this looks nice and clean. Put it back again. Okay, I'll talk about bleeding these later on, but for now let's just go ahead and put them back in. Wipe it first and hand tighten only. That's it. Now we're going to go ahead and change the filter. Okay, when you change the filter, first thing you're going to do is remove this wire. Why you're going to remove this wire is because you might have to need to hold on to this, so that when you open this and rotate it in that direction, that doesn't open as well, because this has the tendency to go as you rotate, and we're gonna see what happens. So I want to rotate that in that direction. My filter wrench points in that direction. I had already used the chain filter wrench, and that's why it has so many scratches, to loosen it. So as we rotate, if you notice this wanting to move, you can go ahead and put a cloth and try to hold on so that it doesn't turn with that. Now, in case this turns as well, okay, in case that turns as well, what you would need to do is put it back, but without tightening this. Don't tighten this by tightening the filter, because every time you're going to try to remove the filter again, this will keep on opening. So what you're going to do is you're going to have to tighten this manually using your hand and tightening this part only, and not the filter to tighten that. So let's go ahead and remove the filter. Okay. I like to check the quality of the diesel every time I remove a filter, and that gives me a good indication of the conditions that this machine is going through. Wow, look at that. That's really dirty. That filter needed changing. And we can even see the water here right at the bottom. Yeah, the brown part is all the diesel, and the whitish part right here at the bottom is the water. So that filter can go to the bin, and we grab a fresh filter which I had filled with diesel earlier. Okay, notice that I have filled this with diesel. I haven't filled this with diesel yet, and I'm going to talk about filling this using the priming pump. So let's go ahead and put this back. This is a new filter. First, make sure this is tight, and initially the threads should go in by hand only. Go ahead until the filter touches. Where the filter just starts to touch, yeah, notice the filter started to touch somewhere where here it's written 1, 2, 3. Now this particular filter doesn't have this instructions written on the other side, so we could use this as our reference. All right, so from the time it touches, even though here they have said 3/4, we can even go up to 1 full rotation or a 360. So let's go ahead and continue. That's 90. That's 180 degrees. Let's keep on going. We have gotten to 270, and to come back to 360, I might need a little bit of help from the wrench. And there you go. Got into 360 mark. Now, the best way to check after doing that full rotation is to give this a good jerk with your hand and see if it's gonna open. In this case, it's quite tight, but I felt it a little bit slipping, so I might add just a little bit. That feels tight enough. All right, don't ever over tighten these. Okay, they should only be more or less kind of hand tightened. So now we put this back, and we go ahead and